When someone falls from grace, their power doesn't just vanish. Sometimes it waits. It hibernates, gathering strength in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to re-emerge. This is a story about that kind of power, the patient, calculating kind. It's a true historical account of an advisor who was once at the very heart of the kingdom, a trusted voice in the ear of the king. But jealousy and court intrigue are dangerous currents. He was betrayed, stripped of his titles, and cast out, exiled to a remote province where he was expected to fade into obscurity. His enemies celebrated their victory. They saw him as a relic, a ghost of the past, completely harmless. And that was their first and most fatal mistake. They underestimated him. They thought he was defeated, but he was simply learning. In exile, he didn't waste his time on bitterness or plots of violent retribution. Instead, he watched the political landscape from afar, analyzing its every shift and tremor. He maintained his old networks, not with pleas for help, but with quiet correspondence, offering insightful advice and reminding them of his value. He became a master of the long game. While his rivals bickered and schemed for short-term gains, he was investing in his own strategic relevance. He wrote brilliant treatises on governance, on military strategy, on economic policy. These documents weren't angry rants. They were masterclasses instead. They circulated quietly among the influential, rebuilding his reputation not as a disgraced courtier, but as the sharpest political mind in the realm. He wasn't begging to be let back in. He was making himself indispensable from the outside. He knew that true power wasn't just about proximity to the throne. It was about being the one person with the answers when everyone else only had questions. Years passed. The kingdom faced a new crisis, a threat from a rival nation, an economic downturn, a succession dispute. The king's new advisors, the very ones who had ousted our protagonist, were floundering. They offered the same old, tired solutions. Their incompetence became glaringly obvious. Desperate, the king and his court began to remember the man they had exiled. They remembered his foresight, his calm under pressure. His name started being whispered in the halls of power again, not as a traitor, but as a potential savior. This was the moment he had been waiting for. When the summons finally came, he didn't rush back with glee. He responded with calm, measured dignity. He had conditions. He wasn't returning as a pardoned exile. He was returning as the solution. He was recalled to court, not to his old position, but to one of even greater influence. His enemies watched in disbelief as he was reinstated, not through force or conspiracy, but because the kingdom simply couldn't afford to be without him. His revenge was complete, and it was exquisite. It wasn't a bloody spectacle. He didn't have his rivals executed. He didn't need to. He simply outplayed them. His return was their ultimate humiliation. They were exposed as short-sighted and inept, while he was hailed as a visionary. He took back everything he had lost and more, not by breaking the rules of the game, but by mastering them so completely that his opponents were rendered irrelevant. He showed them that true power isn't about the position you hold, but the value you possess. His story is a chilling reminder: never ever underestimate the person who is playing the long game. Because while you're celebrating your temporary victory, they are quietly positioning themselves for checkmate. If you enjoy these deep dives into the art of strategic revenge, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We have many more stories of power, patience, and history's most brilliant minds. Thanks for watching.